All righty, everyone. If you could find your seats, and we're going to get started tonight. We have a great program for you tonight. We've got some phenomenal people, like I mentioned earlier. We're excited to present this night to you. And before we get started, I wanted to make sure and acknowledge our sponsors who play a big part in making this night happen. Our title sponsor is Silverton Health, and I believe Ken Hector, Bob Engel, and Ed McKinney, and Melinda Valise are here from the hospital, right? Right over there? And then we have several platinum sponsors, Legacy Financial, Stan Milne, Bob Rhodes, and Laura Dix. Are you guys here? I saw Bob. Where is Bob? There he is. I believe Laura is going to be having a baby soon, so she's excused. And I guess that would excuse Stan, too. OSU Federal Credit Union, the branch manager, Jennifer Miller, and her boss, Peggy Miller, here. And I believe they're back there. Yes Graphics, Bruce Thomas, I know you're here. I saw you. Where are you, Bruce? Bruce, and he did the programs for us tonight. And then inside the programs, you see the photographs of each of the recipients, and that is courtesy of Dan Dinges and Dinges Photography. There's also several individuals that made this night happen that I want to recognize, and that's our DSA committee. The chair of that committee for I don't know how many years now is Dick Jennings. And then on his committee this year were Jennifer Miller, Robin Wilson, and Rhonda Judson. I would like those three to stand up, please. Look around this room, and they took care of these decorations, and it just looks fantastic. And you guys did a great job, and I know Dick would echo those same thoughts. Also, if you are a Woodburn Area Chamber of Commerce on the board of directors, would you please stand? It's the support of the board that helps us put on events like this, and it's great to work on a board that is so community-minded and has the best interests of the community at heart all the time. We also have some dignitaries here that I want to recognize. State Senator Peter Courtney. State Rep Betty Comp is also here. And Woodburn Mayor Kathy Figley is here. Now we have some great speeches that you're going to hear, and I've been told by several people that they promise that they will keep them each under 25 minutes. And so 7 speakers, you do the math. No, they know 2 minutes for the introducer, and we can't control how long the recipients go. But we've got some service clubs that are going to recognize some outstanding individuals in their clubs. And the French Prairie Kiwanis is the first up, and Dave Howard.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Dave Howard, and I have the honor of presenting the Distinguished Service Award to the French Prairie Kiwanis recipient. This year's award goes to a man who has done an outstanding service for the goals of Kiwanis and all around our community. I just can't say enough. John, you want to come up here? He's a great humanitarian and veterinarian, and I'd just like to have John Betts come up here.
Well, Dave, Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Actually, this is just a setup by Dave. I'm John Betts. I'm been around Woodburn and been a charter member of French Prairie Kiwanis. And Marta came to me, our president, and she said, "Will you get our guest here tonight for the award?" And I said, "Well, I'll try to." And then she said, "Will you stand up there and say something?" And I said, "Well, that's not my cup of tea, but I'll do it." I said, "Put a big rump roast, a beef rump roast right in front of me, because I do my best when I'm talking over the back end of a cow. I'm a veterinarian by trade." But our recipient is also a veterinarian by trade, and Marta and the group chose Bob Anderson, who's a retired veterinarian from Portland, Oregon, and he spearheaded and took charge this year of the World Project for Kiwanis. And so I've known Bob for probably 25 years, served on the Board of Examiners with him for about 6 years for veterinary medicine. And then one day he was telling me they wanted to buy a farm when he retired. And I said, "Well, the farm next to me is for sale." And the next thing I know, he was buying it. And he was actually able to pull it off. And it was Marv Bolin he dealt with. And those of you that know Marv, I mean, I'm really proud of Bob that he was able to pull it off. So anyway, this year, Bob, come on up. You're the recipient of this year's award. I'll give you these roses, but I won't kiss you.
Hey, congratulations, Bob.
I don't have to say anything, do I?
Should we make him say something?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I'm shocked, really. I really enjoyed, I joined Kiwanis because I wanted to know somebody. When you sit out on the farm, you don't meet anybody, and I joined the morning Kiwanis because I hate to get dressed up and go at noon. I was a Rotarian for, 15 years, but then I didn't want to get dressed up at noon. So, but I've really found Kiwanis to be a great group, and we've got a great group of guys. We've gone fishing together, had a great time. So, thank you very much.
Our next service club to present an award tonight is Woodburn Rotary, and Scott Derrickson's going to present that award.
Thank you, Jason. When I think about the community of Woodburn and the family that we have here, I think of individuals who are special. They're our neighbors, they're our friends. They're the people you see and your day gets better. They're people who give of themselves, they give of their businesses. They're the foundation, the bedrock of our community, and Matt Geiger is one of those people. Matt is the past president of Rotary. He lives the Rotary motto of service above self, and he's a tremendous asset to our community and our club. So I'm going to ask Matt to start making his way up. He told me not to do that, but here he comes. Matt is a humanitarian. He is somebody who is a businessman. He's dedicated to the youth of our community. He volunteers, and he has a family. And I'm proud to be your friend. Thanks again.
All right, so I kept it short, only half a page today. So in the tradition of when I was club president, I always started with a quote of the day. So I'm starting today for you guys a quote of the day. And this is kind of how I felt when I started as a president. I was 10, 11 was my year. Courage is when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway, and you see it through no matter what. And that was a Harper Lee quote. My fellow Rotarians, see you guys over here, and everybody else. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. And other distinguished guests. This honor is a reflection of our club and not myself during my presidential year. We are called to be Rotarians because we put service above self. That is the motto of Rotary. I feel this award is a realization of the founder's original motto, which the Rotarians in the room will know, he profits most who serves best. Every day, our community profits from the efforts of the Rotary Club of Woodburn. And with the strength of our leadership and the future planning, it will continue to profit for years to come. Thank you again for this great honor.
Our final service club tonight is the Woodburn Kiwanis, and Bruce Thomas is going to make that presentation.
Is it warm in here, or if I? Oh, okay. No, I've been drinking too much. It's all right. Good evening. Sally and Lucian Klein are being recognized tonight for their amazing service to the Woodburn Kiwanis. Both Sally and Lucian are past presidents. Lucian is a past lieutenant governor. Throughout their time in the Kiwanis, they have chaired many of our projects and have worked on every project we've ever had. We are grateful for all the good things they have done in the past and continue to do now. But that's not the main reason they are being honored here tonight. Being good in good times is pretty typical. They are being recognized by the Woodburn Kiwanis for being great in stressful times. Every club has a moment or two when things kind of spin out of control. Last year we had a little problem, and the first phone call went out to Sally and Lucian Klein. It was the best phone call we could have made. The Woodburn Kiwanis are very fortunate to have Sally and Lucian Klein as members, and I'm happy to have their phone number. Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly introduce Sally and Lucian Klein.
Thanks. We wrote this together.
I wrote, she edited.
DSA honors exceptional service to our community. Each year, service clubs give exceptional service to our community and beyond. It is fitting that service clubs be recognized for this. The Kiwanis Club of Woodburn's services include
Scholarships that can be awarded to graduating seniors from Woodburn, North Marion, and Jervis High Schools. A mentor reading program in Heritage Elementary School. Sponsoring and working with key clubs, which are Kiwanis Family High School Service Clubs in Woodburn and North Marion schools.
We contribute to the Woodburn Food Bank, sponsor the dental van in Woodburn, sponsoring a Club Scout pack in the North Marion School District, recognizing Kiwanis terrific kids from both Woodburn middle schools each month during the school year.
Raising funds for the Dornbecker Children's Hospital, contributing to Love Santa, holding the annual Mayor's Prayer Breakfast, sponsoring Relay for Life, and fielding a team.
Putting on safety camp for preschoolers, supporting the Mount Hood Kiwanis Camp for Children with Disabilities, supporting the Boys and Girls Club, participating in the Kids Now program with 5th grade classes at Heritage Elementary, collecting eyeglasses for the Kiwanis SOS Save Our Spectacles program.
Bell ringing for the Salvation Army. Participating in the Kiwanis International Eliminate program. This is a new one, which is Kiwanis in participation with UNICEF to eliminate maternal and neonatal tetanus that each year has taken the lives of nearly 60,000 babies and a significant number of women. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to call attention to some of what our service club, the Kiwanis Club of Woodburn, is doing.
There's one more group of dignitaries that is here that I neglected to mention earlier, and that is members of our Chemeketa Community College Board of Directors, and that's Joanne Bilkey, Ed Dotson, and Dan Oslin over there. So, appreciate you coming. And you know, some things that those service clubs didn't mention, on the things that they do in Woodburn, that gazebo downtown that you see here, Rotary had a big hand in that. That bark dust that you get to make your lawns look beautiful. The 4th of July breakfast. These are all things that are done right here in Woodburn. And these service clubs, I'd like to give them, all of them, another round of applause.
It's a humbling experience to be honored for participating in events that I truly enjoy doing and have had the opportunity.
That's pretty good that you knew that I was going to say that.
I enjoy the opportunity since we all.
We are going to move into now our Distinguished Service Award, Junior and Senior First Citizens and Special Awards. The first recipient could not be here tonight, but Robert Prinsloo is going to introduce our Special Award recipient. Robert?
Good evening. Apparently James couldn't wait to talk, and so he thought he'd get up here before me. It's my great honor to introduce tonight's special award winner, James Aldrich II. Not only is he a personal friend that I've gotten to know over the last couple decades, quite honestly, but I got to know his mom as a prior teacher of mine at a little school called the Woodburn Middle School. You might know it as Lincoln Elementary today. James comes from a local family. He grew up just outside of Woodburn. Both James Sr., his father, who is a former award winner, both the Special Award and the Junior First Citizen here in Woodburn, but also his mom, Ruth Ann, was very active in the Woodburn School District, and she was recognized for her efforts there. So James started early in his volunteering episode throughout his career so far. He started his senior year in high school, about 1985. Not sure why, but he started volunteering with the Woodburn Fire District. And after about 5 years of dragging hoses and learning to be a firefighter and a certified medic, I think he saw the light one day and decided to, well, broaden his horizons, and he became a volunteer with the Reserve Department there in Hubbard, little town just north of here. And so about 1990, he started volunteering as a Hubbard Police Reserve, keeping the citizens of Hubbard safe. I don't think that was quite enough for his volunteer needs. Let me give you a little list of some of the things that James has done once in a while throughout the last, 15, 20 plus years. He's been active in the Relay for Life in several different levels, from just volunteering to coordinating to being chairperson of various events. He helps the North Marion School District. He's been very active in his daughter's education process there throughout their career so far. He participates not only as a cook in the chili cook-off, but he also does a lot of the setup and cleanup, behind-the-scenes type stuff. He has helped at several of the Kiwanis events. He helps both parking cars for various events, as well as he's very active in the bark dust sales that have already been mentioned. He does a lot of taping for the WACAT local station here in Woodburn. He tapes the fire board minutes, meetings for about the last 13 years. If that wasn't enough, he decided that, well, he wanted to help the community in another way. He became active in Love Santa Incorporated for about the last 19 years. And in his spare time, he decided having a job would be good. He's worked at Do It Best Corporation for about 20 years now. He runs the maintenance for that facility. He is very well known and I think respected over there at Do It Best. He definitely is someone that a lot of people know there. In his spare time, if that wasn't enough to do, he has a family, wonderful wife, Gina. He has two daughters, one in college, Andrea, and then he's got a daughter that's in North Marion High School, and Miranda is her name. He enjoys his family, and that's where he is tonight, is spending time with his family, and they had made prior arrangements, and that's why he's not here tonight. I'd like to go ahead and show a video that James created, but before we see that, I want to make sure that we thank Jerry Cotter for helping create this video. It was very important to James to create the video and let you experience what he feels is important about his honor tonight. So please.
Thank you, Robert, for that introduction, and a big congratulations to all of tonight's recipients. It's a humbling experience to be honored for participating in events that I truly enjoy doing and have had the opportunity to do. I enjoy the word opportunity since we all make choices every day, and I enjoy making choices that have afforded me opportunity. Sometimes I mistake opportunity for adrenaline rush, or so I've been told. But all in all, I have and will continue to look for and enjoy many opportunities. I would like to thank and mention a few opportunities that are near and dear to me. First off, my life was shaped and molded when I was 15 years old. I was selected to be a charter member of the Woodburn Police Department's Cadet Explorer Post program. The many officers I worked with for 6 years that I was a cadet helped guide me on the right path to life. I would really like to thank probably the most influential person in my life. That person spent countless hours pursuing causes that mattered to him, the community, and many people around him. I watched and learned as he rallied for causes such as traffic signals, stop signs, parking signs, street striping, correcting bad intersections, and a whole slew of safety items. He would rally his fellow JCs, Kiwanians, city council members, county commissioners, and anyone else who would listen to him. That person being my dad, James Sr. He probably taught me the most about giving back to the community that has given us so much. Standing right by his side was my mother, still offering so much needed support. With her being a retired educator from the Woodburn School District, she has stood strong by me, my family, for many years. Thank you both. The Hubbard Police Department took me on as a reserve volunteer police officer in 1990. I've had the opportunity to work with a great many officers from the patrol level through the leadership level. I feel so fortunate to have worked for an agency that takes public safety so seriously. Hubbard PD, being such a small agency, allows our officers, both full-time and reserve, to actively handle all aspects of police work. These officers do regular patrol duties, detective duties, public education, drug investigations, and so on. I personally took a big interest in the community service part of police work. Chief Dave Drine allowed me the opportunity to represent the Hubbard Police Department in a multitude of events. From sponsoring the Hubbard Food Assistance Program in part with Love Santa, we also did bike training classes for school kids. I worked with OLCC to stop underage drinking. I also did routine police patrols while riding a 21-speed police mountain bike. Many great officers have started out with HPD and went on to continue being great officers with larger departments. The police department has always been and will always remain an important part of my life. The Woodburn Fire District has been a large part of my life and the life of my family. It continues that role today as well. They took me on as a volunteer firefighter back in 1985. I was a senior at Woodburn High School at that time. It was a great excuse to get out of class back then. And I used that excuse many times during my high school career. After receiving my EMT basic certification some 20 plus years ago, I feel an even deeper connection with the community. The residents of the Woodburn Fire District need to continue to be proud of such a group of professional and dedicated full-time and volunteer firefighters. We will respond at a moment's notice. I resent hearing people say that they want to mend the gap between the community and the fire district. There is no gap to mend, and we are here for you like we always have been. I would like to give credit to retired Fire Chief Kevin Hendricks. He allowed his firefighters like myself to take on projects within the community. Our current Fire Chief, Paul Iverson, has continued to allow us to give back in the same way, plus more. Activities include welcoming the returning troops home with our 2 ladder trucks, giving full support to the Relay for Life, and allowing the use of the ladder truck at the event. The fire district puts on a huge bike rodeo safety course with the help of Hubbard Police Department's equipment. Last year, over 150 kids took part in this event. It was a huge success. We try to be at every parade in our area, from the high school homecoming to the golf cart parade. We enjoy being there as much as the participants do. Other activities include Fill the Boot for muscular dystrophy, Stuff the Stocking for Love Santa, full community food drive for St. Vincent de Paul, Woodburn Proud events, Cinco de Mayo celebrations, public works events, and our famous open house with fire truck rides for all those who attend. Oh yes, the list could go on. I've been fortunate to have a stable job with the Stable Corporation, Do It Best Corp here in Woodburn. They've been a very supportive company in many local activities. They strive to help wherever there's a community need. They place me in a position to be able to make suggestions to the company concerning and identifying needs here in the community. Look for us to continue supporting those needs. Now, for the most important thank you I can give. This is to the woman who has stood by my side and occasionally taking over the events that I enjoy doing. I really cannot be who I am today without her support. My beautiful wife, Gina. Oh yeah, she is just as busy with events as I am. I don't feel like we are too busy with our own activities. Instead, I feel like the activities we do together and are closer for it. As Gina and I celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary this year, I do not see us slowing down anytime soon. We're both dedicated to the projects that are close to our hearts. Look for us to continue on this journey. I would also like to thank my 2 wonderful daughters, Andrea and Miranda. They have been a big part of what we do, sometimes putting their lives on hold to help us complete certain community tasks. They too are becoming leaders of their own projects. I am very proud of them. I look forward to watching them doing good things as they continue to mature. The Woodburn community has great opportunities to offer. There are so many opportunities to succeed in so many different ways. If you are not the person stepping up for these opportunities, then please encourage others. We know that life changes when we take advantage of opportunities that come knocking. You win, they win, and we all win. Take care, have a wonderful rest of the evening, and a happy and safe St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. Cheers.
As you can tell, not only opportunity, but giving back to the community is not only important to James, but it has been brought down to him through his family, his parents. And he's doing the same and giving it to his children as well. If I could get James Sr. and Ruth Ann to come up and accept the award for James.
On behalf of James, I am very proud of him, and I'm sure if he was here in person, he couldn't have said it better.
And you all thought I was kidding with the 25-minute speech.
Took him 6 hours to make that tape, he told me.
She said it took him 6 hours to make that tape. But the next time you see him, you make sure and say, "Congratulations, Jamie." This year, Dick and his crew on the selection committee couldn't make up their minds on first junior and senior first citizens. And so they did the best thing that they could do, and they named 2. And there are not 4 better individuals that could have received these awards this year. And to introduce our first junior citizen, Bruce Thomas, last year's award winner, recipient, will come up and introduce. Yeah? I was going to let you introduce her. See, I know who they are.
Then I have the wrong speech. Oh, okay. Good evening. Lucky. The city of Woodburn is lucky. The French Prairie Kiwanis are lucky. The Fiesta Court is lucky. And many others are lucky because of Marta Trinidad is a part of their lives and a part of their organizations. Remarkable, talented, level-headed, focused, respectful, brave, and she's nice. I asked Marta what compelled her to give so much of her time and energy to others. Marta talked about her mom and dad as being a major influence on her life. They instilled in her the value of using time wisely, and her dad tells her to use her time to help others. I have a feeling that Marta's mom and dad do not waste a lot of time. Marta has used her time wisely to become better educated. She has used her time wisely to become a valuable asset at every job she's ever had. Marta also knows how to manage time. She not only went to college full-time, but she worked 32 hours every week in the evenings while she was in college. The more I asked Marta about her life and her accomplishments, the more impressed I became with her family, and especially Marta's mom and dad. I again asked her, why do you give so much? And Marta told me, why not? I can help, I have time. I'm very proud to introduce Marta Trinidad as our junior first citizen.
Well, I was going to wear a crown, but I thought I'd let the first princess wear it instead, or the queen, I'm sorry, the Fiesta Queen. First and foremost, of course, thank you so much to the chamber, the board, for this recognition. This is a complete surprise. It wasn't until Don mentioned the Fiesta Court that I realized they were talking about me. So thank you, Don. It is truly important for me to serve my community here in Woodburn. My mentors have taught us to be active, to serve mankind, and whether it's working together as a family, excuse me, helping our friends and neighbors, or anyone who is in need, the return is always twice-fold. Therefore, taking on a new project or participating in a new or recurring event means so much to me. This is what drives me, it's what fulfills me. It's why I continue to happily serve. How can I not? I get to volunteer. I must thank my director, of course. He has provided me many opportunities to reach out to our schools, our businesses, to our residents, and be able to build those ties with each. And it has been rewarding to me. Thank you, Dan. I especially appreciate the opportunity to coordinate the Fiesta Court and develop an academic program where young ladies learn about the importance of an education, volunteerism, becoming empowering young women, Latinas, and will be the future leaders of our Woodburn community. Once again, thank you. I appreciate this recognition, your support, and of course, this award. Thank you very much.
Our next person needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyways. He received a Distinguished Service Award last year as a junior first citizen. And to introduce our final junior first citizen recipient, Detective Rick Puente.
Buenas noches, damas y caballeros. Es un placer de estar aquí en esta noche con ustedes. Is that okay? You okay? All right. All right. That's it? Okay. 5 signs that the police chief hates you. 5. Thought there'd be more. Number 5, he sends you on drug raids alone. Interesting. Number 4, he refers to you as the department mascot. Number 3, he always tells you that only wimps call for backup. I'm feeling it. Number 2, he makes up missing persons and then sends you out looking for them. And the number 1 sign that the police chief hates you, he makes you the school resource officer and says you're doing a wonderful job. Really? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to this year's DSA Annual Awards Banquet. For those that do not know me, lucky you, my name is Rick Puente. I'm a proud member of the Woodburn Police Department, the finest police department in the Willamette Valley. I would like to first thank the DSA nominating committee for giving me the honor tonight to present this year's award to our recipient. Of course, it goes without saying that this year our recipient is much older than last year's. And I have been told, okay, folks, I have been told last year's recipient was better looking. Although this year's recipient is much older, he definitely is no stranger to the Woodburn community. Please allow me to share just a little information on this year's recipient. This year's recipient made Woodburn, Oregon a part of his life in 1988 when he left the Portland Police Bureau to come and work as a patrol officer for the city of Woodburn. Since that time, his hard work, his morals, values, work ethics, and true dedication allowed him to advance in his career to the position he now holds as chief of police. Throughout his career, he excelled in other divisions with the police department by also working as a detective, a patrol sergeant, and later becoming the deputy chief. In 2002, because of his hard work and dedication, he was chosen to take the reins of the Woodburn Police Department from a retiring Chief Paul Knoll, who is present with us here tonight. Although these are the major steps he has taken in his police career, he's also served this community in many other positive ways as a police officer. During his police career here in Woodburn, he was responsible for establishing the first DARE program. And if you don't know what DARE is, it's the Drug Abuse Resistance Education. Drug abuse, not drug use, okay? Program for the police department. This program focused on the prevention of alcohol and drug abuse by our local children and youth. The DARE program directly impacted our community's youth at that time. To this date, I still hear stories of Scott Russell and Jim Seeley and their time. Of course, this year, they're much older. Although the years have passed, he continues to this day to be involved in reaching out and making a difference in our local youth behind the scenes. He has recently been instrumental in working with many community members in establishing the Weed and Seed program here in the city of Woodburn that focuses on youth, gang, and violence prevention, a program we've also seen our local youth benefit from. In 2009, he hit the ground running, working behind the scenes to bring the Boys and Girls Club here to Woodburn, in which he now serves as the co-chair for the Boys and Girls Club Fundraising Committee. Although these are two programs that stand out, this year's recipient is not the one that likes to be in the forefront or the limelight like some of his other officers. Although the police department takes much of his time, he still does not quit there. This year's recipient continues to work hard behind the scenes, and it shows in and out of our community. He's currently serving on the Marion County Public Safety Coordinating Committee. He's been involved in other community programs such as Relay for Life, Woodburn Together, and has been a longtime Rotarian. He's also currently serving as the treasurer of the OACP, which is the Oregon Association for Chiefs of Police, and is the chair of the North Marion County Communication Board of Directors, also known as NORCOM, and is the board of directors for the Crisis Chaplaincy Services. Folks, it still does not end there. Our recipient is also involved in his spare time supporting his two beautiful daughters, Catherine and Mary, in their school events, sports, and activities. And when he can, he too serves as a guitar player of his church worship band at North Marion Fellowship. This is definitely a man that takes heart in his community and shows through his mindset of service above self. With all he does, it is no doubt people ask, how does he do it? How does this man overcome and serve with the heart and attitude that he does? I believe I can sum it up for you tonight by using a scripture in the Bible that's found in Psalms chapter 121. It says, I lift my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord. The Lord will watch over your life. The Lord will watch your coming and your going, both now and forever. I believe this is just one of the many scriptures that sum up the faith and hope that this year's recipient has shown even after the tragic events of December 12, 2008. It was through this tragedy that I learned life lessons from this man. Lessons such as never giving up hope, lessons on forgiving those who harm you, and lessons on the importance of family, friends, and community. To hear him speak and declare to the media, quote, I have to forgive them. Hatred can eat you up. Deep down inside, my belief is that I have a bigger mission to fulfill. That confirmed that this man was not done serving the community he loves so much. He began fulfilling that bigger mission when he returned to work in 2009. He has served as a testimony to his coworkers, his employees, how important his career is, but also how much more important it is to fight for the community he serves and he loves. In my almost 10 years at the Woodburn Police Department, needless to say, the chief's best years of his life, I've heard him more than once quote Sir Robert Peel's community policing theory. The theory states that the real key for policing is to recognize that the police are the people and the people are the police. So today, we honor this man for his service above self. Please help me in honoring and congratulating your Woodburn Police Chief, my boss and friend, Chief Scott Russell, Woodburn DSA, Junior First Citizen, 2011.
Thank you, Rick, and it truly has been the best 10 years of my life. I want you to know that. I'd like to thank the folks that nominated me. There was a large group led by our mayor and Commissioner Milne, and I appreciate that very much. And thank you to the chamber and the selection committee. Especially thank you for Junior First Citizen. Wow, it's really wonderful. One of my officers said, Chief, you can't buy junior mints at your age. So that's tremendous. Rick Warren, in his tremendous book and video series, Purpose-Driven Life, starts out with the phrase that it's not about you. And truly tonight, I feel that it's not about me. It's about all of the folks in our community that make it great and that I've had the opportunity to work with. The Bible tells us that Jesus did not consider his divinity something to be held on to, but instead became a servant, and through that action was able to redeem the souls of men. And he put together a team that goes on to this day and probably has the best record of being an effective team that there ever was. I've had the pleasure and the privilege of being on some tremendous teams in my time in Woodburn, my 24 years here. The team, Team Russell, my family, who couldn't be with us tonight, they're at the state dance competition. My oldest daughter is dancing, so go Highlanders. Let's hope they do well. But Cammie and the girls are my rock and my inspiration. The team at the Woodburn Police Department and the men and women, previous and current, that are there, tremendous group of individuals. I'm honored to work with each and every one of them. You too, Rick. And they have given my life purpose and honor in my 24 years there with them. The team at the City of Woodburn, Marta and all the rest of my coworkers, and the tremendous job that they do and the passion they have to serve the public. It's an honor to work with them. The team at North Marion Fellowship, my church, a couple of my friends there, the Morfords with me tonight, being my surrogate family tonight, so thanks guys for coming out. And all of those other teams that Rick mentioned that I get to be part of, Woodburn Proud and the greater Woodburn community. Teams are very important to me, and I can't do anything without being part of those teams. And what makes a difference to me in a team is the character of the team and the folks in the team. Donald Crichton, a Canadian historian, said, "History is the record of an encounter between character and circumstance." And if that's true, and I believe it is, then we need to get character right before circumstance happens, because history is going to decide if we failed or succeeded. So character is the first place to get right and to get right in your life. And I want to thank you, my friends and fellow citizens, and all those folks that I've worked with through the years and will work with in the future, for your impact on my character and the impact you will have on my character, because it's not done yet. It needs some more sanding and grinding. But your prayers, thoughts, well wishes, and interaction with me through the years, and especially the last 4 years, has made a huge difference in who I am and who I will be. And I really want to thank you for making this such a wonderful evening for all of us and for this award. So thank you, Jason.
No kisses, thank you. Our next presenter is no stranger to the Distinguished Service Awards banquet. You have seen her up here twice, I believe, as the recipient herself. And Ruby Wolfer is going to introduce our first senior first citizen tonight.
Thank you, Jason. It is my great honor tonight to introduce the 2012 Senior Citizen of the Year, Mr. Phil Hand. He and his wife, Kathy, have been married for 42 years and moved to Woodburn in 1975. Almost said 1942, that doesn't work. Phil is a graduate of the University of North Dakota and the Drake University, and actually received his license on St. Patrick's Day, 1975. So happy 37th anniversary, Phil. Phil and Kathy have 2 daughters, both graduates of the University of Oregon. And I don't know if that's the Ducks or Beavers, because I don't go either way. I almost thought it was the Ducks, but I didn't want to say that. He and Kathy enjoy traveling, and Phil says a lot, so that's good. Phil served in 1969 and 1970 as a platoon leader and commander with the Signal Corps in Vietnam. Phil has been deeply involved with the Woodburn community as a Rotarian for 30 years. He has served as past president and is serving on the board of directors at this time. He has served in the Woodburn Rotary Foundation, granting scholarships to local students. Phil has traveled with the Rotary Club to Thailand to provide food and clothing to island residents. And he has also been a member of the Woodburn Chamber of Commerce for more than 28 years and has volunteered at the Tourism Center at the company stores. The writers of the nomination have this to say regarding Phil Hand: behind the scenes kind of guy who many people seek advice from. Local politicians seek him out to work on their campaigns. He supports Woodburn and encourages city employees, teachers, and new neighbors to get active in our community. In his quiet way, he has supported many groups by attending fundraisers and sponsoring their activities, such as the Girl Scouts, Kmart Kids Against Drugs, and the Library Beautification Project. It is my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Phil Hand.
Well, Don told me I had to finish by 11, so I'll cut this short. I'd like to thank the selection committee for giving me this honor, but especially I'd like to thank 3 women at this table. My wife, Kathy, my daughters, Erica and Kristen. As any of you know that are involved in community service, it does take you away from the family, and they've had to put up with that through the years. But they also have served alongside me on a lot of these. In fact, my daughters quite often talk about the times that they were serving the syrup and butter at the JC breakfast back in the days when the JCs ran the chuck wagon breakfast. Ruby asked me to talk a little bit about how I got involved in some of the committees or groups I'm involved in. The first group that I joined when I came to Woodburn was the JCs. Now back in those days, the JCs were very active, not only in Woodburn, but throughout the state. Unfortunately, it's kind of gone downhill and there's not many JC chapters left. But the very first day I showed up for work, I couldn't have been there a couple hours. And Mick DeSantis and Mike Hayner came in because Lucian, who had hired me as an associate lawyer, had told him that we've got this new associate, and he's a basketball player. I open the door, walk out into the lobby, and I could just see the look on their face as they go, Lucian must have thought we were putting together a football team, not basketball, because this guy is as wide as he is tall. But I went and played with them, and with that group, Frank Lonigan was one of them back then. We played together in the JCs and then City League for a number of years. And in the JCs, I actually got a lot of lifelong friends. I'm really sorry that JCs isn't active anymore. In fact, if you look through the number of recipients that are listed in there, I will bet you 90% of them have their roots in JCs. It really was a good organization to get started with in Woodburn. At about the same time, and they were wrong with the 27 years in the chamber, it's actually been the 35. Back in those days, we were in the old Woodburn Hospital building. That's where our office, Lucian and I were up front. We rented the back to the Chamber of Commerce. Also in the back was the men's restroom. So I spent a lot of time in the chamber office going back and forth and got to know what was going on and got on the committee and was on the board and got very active. And I think being on the chamber board and being active in the chamber has made a big difference, not only to me individually, but I hope to the community that through some of the activities I was involved in, it's made a better place to live. The third group that I really joined, and it was about 2 or 3 years after I came to Woodburn, and Marshall Jelty, who was one of my partners, had decided to retire and go back to Washington, and he was in the Rotary Club, so they decided I should go into Rotary, and I said, okay, that's fine. So I go and I become a member of Rotary, and I really like Rotary, but I'll have to admit, to begin with, I wasn't sure it was a club for me. Back then, and there's probably not many people here that have been around that long, the Woodburn Rotary Club prided itself in attendance. 100% attendance was their big push. Well, I was put on the attendance committee. And probably, I don't know, within a month of being a member, Omer Atkins, who was in charge of it, he was retired, calls me up and says, we have a member that's missed 3 meetings and you need to go tell him that he's automatically out of the club. I'm going, you know, I'm still trying to figure out the names of the people who are in the club, let alone start telling people they have to be out. And especially when I found out it was the immediate past president that I had to tell was no longer in our club. At that time, I wondered, is this really the kind of organization I want to be in, where they put you in that situation and they require you to be there week in and week out? But actually, that was a good thing. It really taught me that you need to be a member more than just in name. By being forced to show up every week, I became much more active, and it really carried over into the other areas of my life, knowing that if you're going to commit to something, you follow through on it. You don't just be a member in name only, but you be there for all the projects, even the times when you don't feel like showing up, you do. So the fact that you're all here shows that you're community spirited or minded. But I would encourage you that if you've got children, relatives, employees that aren't, that you get them involved, because they'll find that if they become involved in service clubs and that type of thing, they'll become involved in the city. They'll not only make the city a better place to live, but also make them better citizens. And who knows, a few years from now, you may be sitting out there listening to one of your friends or relatives up here speaking because you encourage them to get active in the community. Thank you for the award and recognition.
It's part of what makes her so great. She is selfless and giving, loving and accepting. Whether it's hosting a food and toy drive at her work that her and Ronnie have done for literally decades, or baking cookies and goodies for emergency personnel in Woodburn. She always wants to give back. She's been actively involved in Relay for Life, Woodburn Proud, Woodburn Rotary, Love Santa, and the Woodburn Area Chamber of Commerce, to name a few. There are many things about Janice that I could go on and on about. She is a mother of 2 daughters. She is a mom to a lot bigger crowd than that, though. Several years ago, she found out that my family was going to be out of town over the holidays. And she invited me into her home and for dinner, and it was a great night. I got to spend with her and Ronnie and her dad, and there were some other people there. It is who Janice is. She is one of the greatest huggers in Woodburn. And if you have been lucky enough to receive a hug from Janice, you know what I'm talking about. It is my privilege to call her my friend. Please welcome your senior first citizen, Janice Webb.
Of course, I get to follow an attorney who doesn't even need notes. I had 3 initial reactions when learning that I had received this award. The first one was, me, a senior? I've never been referred to as a senior yet, and I was hoping it was going to be a little while until that came up, but that's the way it goes. The second was, oh my gosh, I got to give a speech. I don't do speeches, so don't get your hopes up. And third was, of course, wow, what an honor, and thank you. I was born into a military family in Holyoke, Massachusetts, where I lived the first 6 years of my life. As with all military families, we moved a lot, started at new schools, and having to meet new people was always nerve-wracking because I never felt like I fit in. I never felt like I was part of the cliques. This seemed especially true when my dad retired and we settled into Redmond, Oregon, where most of my mother's family lived. Redmond was a small town, kind of similar to the size of Woodburn at the time we lived there. And I envied the fact that most of the kids that lived there, they'd lived there all their lives. And they grew up together, they all knew each other, they all loved each other, and their whole lives were together. And like most of our military assignments, I really only lived there for 4 years before I went on to college and got married. And Ronnie and I married 31 years, and we began our life here in Woodburn. It's unbelievable to me to think that I've lived in one place for 30 years of my senior life. I can't go to the grocery store or the eye doctor or any place in Woodburn where I don't run into somebody I know, and that's such an amazing feeling. For me, getting involved in the community probably began when my children started elementary school. There was not an established PTA in my children's elementary school, and some other parents and I thought, we need a PTA. As my girls grew up, I noticed the same group of parents that were involved trying to make our children successful. From the first PTA meeting I attended when Kaylee was in kindergarten, to the last senior celebration committee meeting that I attended when Tana graduated from high school, I saw the same parents. The same parents all the way from elementary school was the same parents that were there for the senior celebration meetings. The same faces time after time. I see it now in the community, at the chamber events, such as this, at the Woodburn Proud Cleanup Days, which we'll see you all there tomorrow, the fundraisers, the city and civic organization events. We have some absolutely amazing community members here. Many have donated countless hours of time, energy, money into the events that help our community bring it all together. Some actually use vacation days in order to run events such as Relay for Life, Love Santa, and put on the fundraising events and auctions. Local businesses are hit up time after time after time for donations, and they still keep giving. There are generous employers that even pay their employees to take their time to volunteer at the community events. But this is what it takes. All of us working together, moving in the same direction to really make a difference in our community. Now we are seeing the next generation of great community members. Many of them our own children and their friends who have been influenced by us by following our examples. As many of you know, our daughter Tana Jo loves being involved and is usually by my side for every event, and in many cases is dragging me along to her events and getting me involved even more than I already am. And even though Kaylee doesn't live in our community anymore, she still considers us to be her home, her community, and returns to participate in community events when she can, such as our clinic's annual food and toy drive, Relay for Life, which has become both a community and family tradition. We have many young people to be proud of. I partnered with 2 amazing high school students during the last Woodburn Proud Cleanup Day that were a joy to work with. Their willingness to give up their valuable Saturday morning, and we all know what a valuable Saturday morning is to a teenager, to pick up trash, and their interest in others' needs in the community was touching and left me reassured about the future of our community. There are members of our community who would go out on a limb to help my family and I if we needed it, even though they hardly know us, because we're all in the same boat, on the same river, with most of the same challenges in life. We all have to throw out a life preserver now and then and help each other out, because that's what community is all about. And there could come a time when we're the ones that need to be pulled in. Contrary to my childhood experiences, living here for the past 31 years, I finally feel like I fit in. And I have friends that I have grown up with, or at least grown old with. I feel like I have found family. I feel like I have found new family members, because you've heard the saying, friends are the family that you get to choose yourself. I will continue to be a contributing member of this community as long as I am able, because this community has given me one thing I have always wanted, a place to belong, a place I call home. Thank you.
We have one more person that would like to come up and say a few words. Representative Comp.
I want to thank you for indulging me this evening. The discussions about community service and particularly about our Woodburn community have really touched me. And I am beginning another election cycle. As you know, all of us politicians, we just keep doing it over and over. And most of you probably wonder why. But the why in my life is sitting in this room. And it's a number of you that have been senior recognized citizens. But we as a state, our local communities it is a pleasure. This is my 10th year in a row to be here at this celebration. And yet there's one person that comes to all these and has been doing this many, many more years than I. And I know he's not going to be happy about this, but I want to honor a leader in our state that has made history in our state. That is somebody that I look up to as a role model, how he has done this for 28 years. He comes to every one of these functions. He's at the Kaiser Rotary, he's at the Salem Rotary, he's at the Chamber. If you want to talk to Senate President Peter Courtney, I'll tell all of you right now, you go to Elmer's on Portland Road at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you will find our senator, our Senate president. And he is already worked out. He's eating his oatmeal, which some of us have learned is good for us. But what I want to share, and I'm sure he's going to be very mad at me for at least 6 years and not vote for any of my bills, but I wanted to say this man is one of the greatest legislators that this state knows. He's right up there with Tom McCall. He has made it possible for us to balance our budget within 5 weeks. The state of Washington is in a special session right now using the state of Washington's taxpayer dollars because they have not been able to balance their budget. It has been our role as legislators during these really, really tough times to do what's best for all of you. We know that businesses are hurting. Real estate is way in the tank. And we're just seeing the signs of a little bit of recovery. But we as legislators have to believe that we can help all of you. And I won't take any more time, but I absolutely want to say that the person that gives to his family, to our state, our Oregon, Senator Peter Courtney. And I wish you'd congratulate him.
Thank you, Representative Comp. Before we conclude our evening tonight, if you are a current, as of tonight, or former Distinguished Service Award recipient, would you please stand? Let's give all of them another round of applause. Well, we made it. And despite what Bruce says, I haven't been drinking, and it is hot up here. I want to thank you on behalf of the Woodburn Area Chamber of Commerce and its Board of Directors for coming tonight and celebrating this wonderful night here. And I want to thank Wellspring again, Woodburn Health Center, for providing this room for us. So thank you again, guys. And as you leave here, please drive safe, and thanks for coming. Have a good night.